What is up, guys? It has been a little bit, so I want to do a little update. I was gonna do a quick review on the Navigator, kind of things I like and don't like about it. We are at roughly 10,000 miles on the new 25 Navigator, so I think I have a decent amount of input to what I like and don't like about it. As soon as I get stopped up here, we'll do a quick walk around and go over a couple things about the new Navigator and why this has been our favorite vehicle we've ever purchased. Okay, let's start with the outside, make it quick since it just did snow. We went with the gray mist metallic color, which has been my favorite out of any of the Navigators released. She's extremely dirty right now. A couple snowstorms, but the car's been phenomenal. We've really enjoyed the ownership of it. Everything's been great. We had an issue with the first one we bought that we actually got the deal unwound and got this one. But this one has the different, just lost a toy. This one has the different second row seating. So we actually have a console right here instead of the pass through. And excuse my mess. We've been living in it with my family for a while here. Has the second, or has the console right here, which not only gives you the controls here, but also gives you the nice seat. So this is actually the same seat that is in the front seat. So with that, you get all the controls. You get the massage, heated and cooled. It actually has a chauffeur mode on this where you can push this button and this seat flips all the way up to where this person on either side has a lot more leg space. The only downside to that is this chair does not fold and flip up. Since it is the nicer model, you can only hit the button right here that'll move the whole seat up and kind of lift it. Obviously you can't do that with the car seat. So this made it a little bit more challenging with getting our third kiddo in the back there. So we actually have the back down and he just climbs in through the back. We typically have backpacks and stuff like that anyway, so it's not a big deal to have a kiddo climb through the back. Got the jet black appearance package to where everything is black that would normally be chrome. Still got a dang Oklahoma license plate on it because the Texas DMV have not sent it to us. This is one of my favorite features of the Navigator, is the split gate. I wish more of them would do this. I'm glad they don't because it's a little unique to the Navigator, but this has been awesome. Again, dirty as hell, but it is a super cool back area that's able to be used, and the fact that you can put a lot of weight on this and climb into it and not worry about breaking it off is nice. We had 6 adults in here going to Colorado 2 weeks ago, 8.5-hour drive, and everybody was comfortable. Everything was great. There's plenty of room for everybody. So I do feel like this is the perfect size. We were debating on getting the long versus the small or the short, but I wanted it to be as sporty looking as possible. And I like the short wheelbase a little bit better as far as the looks of it. I think it looks a little clean. But I wouldn't mind having the extra space. That is one thing that obviously it would be nice to have. Man, as far as the outsides, I honestly don't have any complaints on the outside. I think the car looks phenomenal. The jet black package makes everything look really nice. And here you got the full, I believe it's 48-inch screen. That is really cool, especially with the kiddos. You can actually put YouTube on any of these 4 slots right here, 5 including this one, and play a video here as long as you're in park to where the kids can watch it. If you're in a parking lot waiting on groceries or whatever the case may be. Gas mileage, right about 16.5. It's a little lower right now because I've been sitting idling a lot today. I've actually been using it for work, but other than that, the thing is phenomenal. I didn't like this material at first just because I thought it looked a little off, but with it being like an opal, it's actually a really nice material. You can't really see, it's all dirty right now, but crystal ball, volume knob. I think they did a really good job with this vehicle. The only thing, I'm not going to say the only thing, but my major complaint with this car is this little box right here. So what that is cameras to essentially watch your eyes. And there's another one up here that it knows when you're not looking at the road. Since this thing has full self-driving and it has Blue Cruise, this is amazing. It drives itself. It does everything it's supposed to do. But if you have your arm like this, and like if you're looking at it, you know, it covers up half the sensor where my head's at. If you have your arm like this driving, like I normally do, the sensor cannot pick up your eyes and it immediately starts beeping at you to watch the road. Even though you're watching the road, it just can't see you. So that has been my most annoying complaint about this thing, is the fact I'm so used to driving like this with my truck that now I'm almost forced to drive like this, even one-handed. It's kind of awkward to hold it one-handed if you're not driving just on the top. And if you're not using the Blue Cruise or the lane centering assist, then this doesn't even matter. But I do wish that they would have at least put this, like, I don't know, I mean, even up in here somewhere to where it can see you, to where I can still do this and drive normal. They want you to hold it 10-2 like this, obviously. Excuse me. But it's just a weird thing that I wish they would have thought that through a little bit better. But as far as the shape of the wheel, this kind of oval-y shape, I honestly really like it. And like whipping it around and stuff, like turning real sharp, is really nice. The steering is great. The feel's great. You can tell everything's made with expensive materials, like real nice soft leather. You know, nothing rattles. There's no weird noises or creaks. Overall, phenomenal car. That's my biggest complaint, because that thing complains at me every time I'm driving this thing on road trips, because I'm the worst about putting my hand over it. The software is pretty touchy as well. If I look over to the left or the right, just looking out the road while I'm driving, if I'm looking longer than a second or two, it starts yelling at me, telling me to watch the road, put pressure on the steering wheel, whatever it may be. But yeah, I mean, pretty much you don't expect them to not have those safety features when the car's driving itself, I guess. But this screen, everything works really well. We don't really have any issues with any of it. It's pretty quick. We don't, dive into it. But one thing I do like is on here, whenever you want to switch it, say, you want your compass, you just drag it and place it where you want it to go. And it'll actually just replace that screen with whatever you put there. So I don't have my location on this phone. So it's well, here we go. So then you got your compass. So a lot of different things that I think are really cool about this. They thought a lot of stuff through that I thought made sense. Some things not so much, but we're very happy with the car. The only thing that I wish that they would have added, which most people probably do not care for this, I wish they had paddles back here. The gear select is actually these two buttons, which are not ideal if you're trying to drive on icy roads and I wanted to use the engine brake to slow the car down, and kind of shift down to use the motor to slow the car instead of locking my brakes. I was having to constantly tap these with my hand, in which you're driving, you're at that point, you're then driving with one hand. So in icy conditions, that wasn't ideal. Paddles would be a lot better for that. Most people probably don't care, but I also like the paddles because it makes it feel a little bit more sporty. Clicking these buttons. It has a 10-speed in it, so it drives great. The transmission's honestly really nice, but sitting here clicking these buttons is not near as responsive, as messing with paddles. So, but again, most people don't care about that. The speaker system in this car is phenomenal. It honestly sounds really good. I wouldn't mind having a subwoofer in here just for a little bit more bass, but it does really well with all the little speakers and tweeters they have in here. Everything sounds really nice. The other side, this has the Raptor high output 3.5, which I believe is 440 horse and like 520 or 40 foot-pounds of torque, somewhere in there. This is a great motor. I would much rather prefer this than a 6.2 of a GM. It'll walk it all day long. I believe it's well over half a second quicker to 60 than a 6.2 liter is. So it's better in that aspect. I'm sure it gets better gas mileage. The only thing I wish, which again doesn't make sense to most people, but in my truck, I have the Power Boost powertrain, which is the 3.5 with the hybrid assist motor that you do not have to charge. It charges itself through the truck, all that good stuff. I loved that, especially that's why it's parked next to my house, because we had a power go out. I started my truck and supplied all my appliances in my house with my plugs in the back of the truck. Obviously, you're not really concerned about doing that with the Navigator, but I do like the fact, like with this truck, it gets way better gas mileage. It has more power than an EcoBoost, and the electric driving is pretty cool. And once you get used to it, it's pretty cool to kind of, just kind of tote around town real slow whenever I'm looking at roofs and whatnot, and the truck's completely off. Sitting in parking lots, like right now, this car is on. That truck would just be off. It'd cycle on and off every, 5-10 minutes for a second. But I do like a lot of the aspects of the hybrid powertrain more than I thought I would. I understand why they don't put it in this, obviously, but that would be nice. With that being said, since this is the Raptor motor, this thing is so tested and tried and true that it is essentially a bulletproof motor. The 10-speed is strong. The transmission, you can get a tune. You can custom tune these. I'm not sure if the 25s are available yet to tune, but the motor and the transmission are definitely tunable as soon as they crack into the software. This thing would be an absolute monster if you threw a tune onto it. There's Raptors out there with just a tune only on E30 that are running quicker times than Raptor R's. So if that's a 760 horsepower, motor in the Raptor R, I believe they say like 720 or something for the Raptor, but with that 5.2 supercharged Predator in the Raptor, and it makes 700 whatever with just a tune in the 3.5, it's quicker. I know that this thing with a tune on E30 especially would outrun an Escalade V. Now that's a pretty big statement, but I do know what the Escalades run. This thing's like barely over a second off 0 to 60. A tune can fix that. And I know in the quarter mile, there's tuned Raptors that are running faster than the Escalade Vs. So this thing is a monster, just kind of tuned back a little bit for reliability. Obviously, I do plan on tuning this eventually. My thought was first, I want to get a JB4 so I can put it on my truck and this and kind of make some videos with both rather than custom tuning one or the other. Most of the time, this thing is perfect the way it is. I wouldn't mind if we're going on road trips and stuff, especially if I can throw another 80 to 100 horses on it with a JB4 and it still keeps my warranty. So that's probably the route we're going to go. As of now, no more active complaints. The Navigator is sick. I'm having a blast with it, and I honestly think it's one of the best vehicles you can get, especially at the price point when you're comparing it, 30 grand more for an Escalade Sport of this spec. So let me know if there's anything else you guys would like for me to go over. Hopefully soon we're getting a JB4 sent this way and we can get a couple more fun videos in.